The first 18 months of your child's life are the most neurologically significant period they will ever experience. More neural connections form in this window than at any other point in a human lifetime. And what happens, or does not happen, in this period shapes the architecture of the brain that every future learning experience will be built upon. My son is in this window right now. And as a former teacher who has studied child development, I want to share everything I know about what a parent can actually do during these 18 months. Not vague advice, like talk to your baby, but specific developmentally grounded activities matched to exactly what your baby's brain is building at each stage. This is part 1 of the developmental series I promised. One dedicated video per age stage, going deep on what your child needs and what you can do. If your child is older than 18 months, stay until the end because I will tell you exactly which video is coming next for your child's age. Let us start from the very beginning. The science first, what is actually happening inside your baby's brain. Before we talk about what to do, I want you to understand what you are working with. Because once you see the science, every single activity in this video will make complete sense rather than feeling like advice you are taking on faith. A baby is born with approximately 100 billion neurons, essentially all the neurons they will ever have. But those neurons are largely unconnected at birth. What the first 18 months are doing is building the connections between them, called synapses, at a rate of up to 1 million new connections per second. Every experience your baby has, every sound they hear, every face they see, every texture they touch, every word spoken to them is either building or failing to build a synaptic connection. The connections that form repeatedly become strong and permanent. The connections that never form get pruned away in a process called synaptic pruning, which begins around age 2. The brain's architecture is built through an ongoing process that begins before birth and continues into adulthood. But the most intensive period of construction occurs in the first years of life, when more than 1 million new neural connections form every second. Harvard Center on the Developing Child. What this means practically, the experiences you provide your baby are not just pleasant moments. They are literally building the physical structure of their brain. A baby who hears rich, varied language is building more robust language networks. A baby who is responded to consistently is building stronger emotional regulation circuits. A baby who is given varied sensory experiences is building broader sensory processing pathways. You are not waiting for your child to be ready to learn. They are already learning from this moment, whether you are intentional about it or not. The question is simply what they are learning and how rich that environment is. Month by month, what your baby is developmentally building at each stage. The birth to 18-month window is not one uniform stage. Your baby at 3 months is in a completely different developmental place than your baby at 12 months. Understanding what they are building at each micro stage helps you match your activities to their actual readiness. From birth, 3 months, sensory calibration and attachment. Baby is learning to process visual information, recognize familiar voices and faces, and establish the foundational attachment bond. Vision is limited to about 30 centimeters, the distance of a face during feeding. Responds to high contrast patterns, familiar voices, gentle touch, 3 to 6 months social engagement and motor beginnings, social smiling, cooing, beginning to track moving objects, hands are discovered, bringing them to the mouth, examining them. Tummy time becomes critical for neck and core strength that underpins all future motor development, 6 to 9 months, object permanence and early language. The understanding that things continue to exist when out of sight, a foundational cognitive concept. Babbling begins with consonant sounds. Begins to understand that their actions cause reactions, sitting, reaching, transferring objects between hands. 9 to 12 months intentional communication and mobility. First words, emerge or approach. Pointing develops. A major milestone in intentional communication, crawling and pulling to stand. Begins to understand simple instructions, imitates actions and expressions deliberately. 12 to 15 months walking and vocabulary explosion. Independent walking typically begins. Vocabulary grows rapidly, often 5 to 20 words. Pretend play begins in its earliest forms. Increased independence and exploration drives. Strong development of fine motor skills. Pincer grip, stacking. 15 to 18 months language acceleration and self-awareness. Vocabulary can reach 50 plus words. 2-word combinations begin to emerge. Recognizes themselves in the mirror, a significant milestone in self-awareness. Symbolic play develops strong opinions and the beginning of emotional regulation challenges. Area 1. Language. The single most important thing you can do in these 18 months language is the foundation of all future academic learning. Reading, writing, mathematics, science, all of it is mediated through language. The child who enters formal learning with a rich, robust language foundation has an advantage that is very difficult to overcome and very easy to build if you start early enough. 1. Talk constantly. Narrate everything from birth. Narrate your day in full sentences. Now I'm putting on your socks. These are your blue socks. They are soft and warm. You are not talking to yourself. Every word is building vocabulary networks. Research shows that the number of words a child hears by age 3 is the strongest single predictor of their vocabulary at age 9 and their reading comprehension at age 10. Quantity and quality both matter. 2. Read aloud every single day without exception, 20 minutes minimum. The earlier you start, the better. Even a newborn benefits from hearing the rhythm and patterns of language through books. At this stage, choose books with high contrast images for newborns, simple repetitive text for 3 to 6 months, and books with textures, flaps, and interactive elements from 6 months onward. Point to pictures and name them. Pause and look at their face. Make it a two-way experience even before they can respond verbally. 3. Serve and return conversations. From the earliest weeks, your baby makes sounds, movements, and expressions. Respond to everyone. This back and forth, called serve and return, is the conversational dance that builds language circuits, social cognition, and emotional regulation simultaneously. You say something, pause, they coo or gesture. You respond as if they said something meaningful because developmentally they did. Harvard researchers describe serve and return as essential as nutrition for healthy brain development. 4. Sing songs and nursery rhymes daily. Music and language share overlapping neural pathways. Songs teach rhythm, rhyme, and phonological awareness. The understanding that language is made of sounds before a child can read a single letter. The child who knows 20 nursery rhymes by heart before they start formal reading instruction has a measurable advantage in phonics acquisition. Simple, repeated songs are more valuable than complex ones. Area 2. Sensory and motor building, the physical foundation of the learning brain. Cognitive development and physical development are not separate processes in the early years. The brain regions that process sensory information and control movement are deeply interconnected with the regions responsible for attention, memory, and higher order thinking. Physical exploration is cognitive development. Remember, TSFT is tummy time from day 1. Non-negotiable tummy time builds the neck, shoulder, and core strength that underpins crawling, sitting, walking, and eventually the fine motor skills needed for writing. Start with 2 to 3 minutes several times daily from birth and build gradually. Place yourself at their eye level to make it engaging. Babies who have regular tummy time meet motor milestones earlier and show better postural control throughout childhood. S is varied sensory experiences every day, different textures, soft, rough, smooth, bumpy. Different temperatures, warm bath water, cool grass, different sounds, music, nature, voices, silence, different visual inputs, patterns, faces, movement, natural light. The sensory cortex is being mapped during this period, and varied input builds a richer, more differentiated sensory processing system. Simple sensory baskets, a collection of safe household objects with different textures and weights are one of the most effective and free activities available. F is free movement, floor time without restriction. Babies who spend significant time on a safe floor surface, able to move freely in all directions, develop motor skills, spatial awareness, and self-directed exploration, more effectively than babies who spend long periods in bouncers, rockers, or seats. Freedom to move is freedom to learn. The floor is the best early learning environment available. Area 3, emotional security, the foundation that everything else is built on. This is the area that gets the least attention in early childhood education conversations, and it is the most important of all. A child's capacity to learn is directly determined by their sense of emotional security. A child who feels safe, seen, and consistently responded to has a nervous system that is ready to explore, take risks, and engage with new experiences. A child who feels uncertain or unresponded to is in a state of low-level stress. And a stressed nervous system cannot learn effectively. What this looks like in our home right now. With my son in this stage, the most important thing I do every day has nothing to do with activities or resources. It is simply being present and responsive. When he makes a sound, I respond. When he reaches for something, I notice and narrate it. When he is upset, I come to him quickly and calmly. When he looks at my face to check whether something is safe, called social referencing, I give him a warm, reassuring expression. These are not things I do as a teacher. They are things I do as a parent who understands that secure attachment in the first 18 months is the strongest single predictor of emotional resilience, social competence, and academic readiness in later childhood. What to avoid in this stage screen time before 18 to 24 months. Screens are passive and cannot serve and return. Language development requires responsive interaction that screens cannot provide. Academic pressure of any kind, flashcards, drilling letter sounds, structured learning sessions, the brain is not developmentally ready, and the result is stress, not acceleration. Overscheduling. Too many structured activities, classes, and appointments leave no space for the unstructured exploration that is developmentally essential. Background noise, constant TV or music in the background reduces the quality of parent-child language interaction and makes it harder for babies to distinguish and process speech sounds. Our daily rhythm. What a day actually looks like with a baby. Under 18 months, I want to give you something concrete before I close. Not a perfect schedule, but a real picture of how we weave intentional developmental activities into a normal day without it feeling like school or work. 1. Morning. Language-rich start. From the moment he wakes up, I narrate what I am doing, what he is seeing, what is happening. Nappy change becomes a language activity. Cyril, let us change your nappy. Here are your legs. Here are your feet. 1 foot, 2 feet. When our breakfast is described, every routine moment is a language opportunity. No special materials needed. Just conscious presence and words. 2. Floor time. 30 to 45 minutes, a safe space on the floor with a small selection of simple objects. A wooden spoon, a fabric square, a small board book, a smooth stone, a soft ball. I sit nearby but do not direct. I follow his attention and narrate what he explores. Simple, free, and more valuable than any bought activity. 3. Reading. Twice a day, minimum once in the morning and once before sleep. Morning reading is often interactive, pointing, naming, responding to his reactions. Bedtime reading is calmer. The same familiar books, the same rhythm, which builds a sense of safety and predictability that supports healthy sleep and emotional regulation. 4. Outside time every day, without exception. Natural light, fresh air, and the sensory richness of the outdoors, different sounds, temperatures, textures, and visual complexity provide input that no indoor environment can fully replicate. Even 20 minutes outside every day makes a measurable difference to sleep, mood, and sensory development. 5. Songs throughout the day. During nappy changes, in the car, during bath time, before sleep. The same songs repeated consistently. not for variety, but for the neurological power of repetition and pattern recognition. My son already responds to familiar songs with visible joy and anticipation. That response is his brain recognizing and completing a pattern, which is a fundamental cognitive skill. Birth to 18 months is not a waiting period before learning begins. It is the most intensive learning period of your child's entire life. And the activities that support it are not complicated, expensive, or time consuming. They are conversation, books, songs, movement, touch, and a secure, responsive relationship with you. You do not need a curriculum. You do not need specialist toys or expensive classes. You need presence, language, and the understanding that every ordinary moment of your day together is building something extraordinary inside your child's brain. Next in this series, 18 months to 3 years, the toddler stage, the stage where everything gets louder, more mobile, more opinionated, and infinitely more interesting. I will cover exactly what the toddler brain is building, what activities match their developmental readiness, and how to channel the chaos of toddlerhood into genuine learning. Subscribe so you do not miss it. And drop a comment below with your baby's age right now. I want to know exactly where the people watching this are, because it shapes how I build the rest of this series. You are doing something remarkable for your child. Keep going.